Hello, welcome back. It's Thursday evening. What up to today? This morning I've been trying to organise events to really get close to all the people on the West Coast, well, pretty much all over the constituency. Make them know that I'm there to meet them, create venues where I can take their questions live, work out how to get that advertised and communicated, which is all quite a challenge when you've got very little budget. It's a lot of work, and if the phone rings, it'll doubtless be a kind volunteer who staffs a parish hall or a church hall getting back to me about another £6 booking for a session. And it is lovely to work with so many people like that. And then this afternoon I've been out canvassing all afternoon, and flakes of snow. It was so cold and my hands were black. That's why I'm in a thick jumper now. I'm still chilled to the bone and trying to warm up. But something happened today which I want to respond to. There has been an attack. The Green candidate has decided to launch a substantial attack on Lib Dem policy, which has been reported in the Whitehaven News. Now, some of you will notice this is quite a different strategy to the Greens and Lib Dems have been working closely together on the last few by-elections, and it's quite unexpected. So I think it's worth talking a little bit about what's going on with this candidate. The Green Party sits between Greenpeace, which is a pressure group on particular environmental issues, and mainstream politics, as being a political party which attempts to create coherent policy, but is driven by a green agenda. And that's an uneasy situation for them to sit in. It kind of makes sense on a human level, because there are people who are just there. That's where they've come from, that's what they believe in. They're not interested in other aspects of running this country. They're just interested in environmental issues. Yet, in order to have an impact, they want to focus on politics, to have a presence. But it's difficult because as a pressure group, Greenpeace can quite effectively pressure against nuclear energy. They don't like it, they don't want it, and that's a stance that they can take as a pressure group. But when you become a political party, things change, because it's your job to keep the lights on and keep the economy and industry functioning, and therefore you've got to create an energy policy that works. And when you do that, you have to look at the options and decide which is the least worst, because none of them are a joy. Nobody wants to have massive energy producing infrastructure built in their area or functioning in their area particularly. And there are benefits of jobs, but nothing is perfect. And in order to make our energy policy work, we need a substantial base load, which is a stable load of energy, because our national grid cannot function effectively with entirely small sources of variable energy. If we're going to make that happen, there needs to be a massive, massive infrastructure upgrade to the national grid, and it's a real shot in the dark. So that baseload has got to come from nuclear or fossil fuels. There is no other way that it can be created. So you either have to have nuclear, or you have to chuck your carbon targets in the bin and decide to contribute substantially to global warming, as well as the fact that fossil fuels bring their own issues. People aren't exactly hugely enthusiastic about fracking, and when you've got major power carbon generated power stations with you, they're not perfect either. So The Lib Dems have a balanced energy policy. We are committed to nuclear because we are committed to our carbon targets. It's a green energy policy. And it's ethically based. It's based on secure foundations of values that we share. It's been really disturbing to watch the Green candidate attacking people who support nuclear power as being just after the jobs at any cost, because that's not the case. There are some people who believe that you should support it just for the jobs, but there are also a lot of people who believe that you should support it because it makes sense. It is the best green policy that we have. It's not perfect, but we're not running away from the fact that we have to get on and make this country work. So there's a real problem with green policy on nuclear. It doesn't add up, and I know the Green candidate is alienating an awful lot of people because he is very arrogantly saying that they're just self-interested about jobs, and that is fundamentally not true. I mean, look at me. I am in it because I care for no other reason. I don't have interests. I don't have shares in fossil fuel in any companies. I don't have any. It's just not that, and that's not what the Lib Dems are. And you have no moral grounding for attacking us on that. So, interestingly, the Green candidate has decided to attack me and us on NHS policy. I think if it's worth going back to nuclear because the Green candidate clearly believes a lot of the propaganda about nuclear. Greenpeace do some good pressure work, but they also share a lot of propaganda that's not true. And it would be fair to say that the Green candidate has not got past the propaganda on NHS stuff either, which is hardly surprising because he hasn't bothered to try. We have had such complex issues going on in here in the NHS for months, and he would have been, as the other candidates would have been, extremely warmly welcome to get involved and wrestle with them and try and understand what was going on. But he didn't bother, did he? Now, Lib Dem policy on health and NHS is deeply, deeply creditable. It's created by people who are just passionate about serving this country. Very intelligent people who dedicate their time and energy for free to try and create policy that is ethically sound and works in the national interest. And it's complicated. There are people who absolutely believe in privatising the NHS. That's a disaster. You can't do this on ideological grounds because you just end up rushing change that causes chaos. And that's what the Tories are doing at the minute, even though they don't pretend that they're not. But they've got this really violent push towards restructuring to create a marketised NHS. And it's just going far too fast and it's causing chaos. On the other hand, you have people who want to go back to 1948 and have it structured in a very, very simple way. And the world has changed. We can do things that are much more complex than that. When I've been listening to our top medics in Copeland, they want to innovate and they want to do things that will raise funds for the NHS to make things happen here. They want to be training international students and so on. And we have the capacity to support more complex structures, and we should be looking to support them because they are in our interest. So it's just not simple, and the Lib Dems are people who are wrestling with the reality of this. And it's really easy to attack us. But Jack, what are you doing attacking me and us like this? We are not your enemy. We're a thoroughly decent party with a thoroughly decent and dedicated candidate. that you could learn so much from. And you are really, really welcome to come and learn. Fingers crossed, Ed Davies going to be here on Monday. Fingers crossed. Nothing seems to be simple. Would you like to come and meet him and talk through how Lib Dem policy came to embrace nuclear power? If you would like to, I'll see you on Sunday night and we can try and set that up for you. I think that would be a good use of his time, so that you can see close up that this is dignified and really, really scientifically grounded. And you can see it in a different way to how you see it through the press and through the propaganda that you read. And I think you would benefit from that, and it would probably be the most useful thing that you could get outstanding in this election, because I don't think you're going to get a lot of votes. All right, let us go back and have a look at this. Hope you've warmed up. Nearly. Elsewhere in Whitehaven News, Labour trying to run and hide. Yes, we discussed that yesterday. Let's leave that. But Rebecca, do you have connections to nuclear? Yes, I understand it. I've no commercial interest in it whatsoever. I do have a husband who works in that sector, but I cannot explain what he does because of restrictions on his employment. But it's not... Chat to you privately, Adam, and then hopefully you can come back and reassure people on that. Does anyone have any more questions tonight? Well, I'm waiting to see if anyone's got any more questions. Please, please, please share the video. As soon as it's finished, I'll put it live. If you can share it onto Facebook pages, that would be fantastic. Please share it onto the local Facebook pages. I want people to have the chance to ask me questions, to know about it. If you're watching it, please like the Facebook page, Hanson for Copeland, so you get to see the videos and you can ask me questions. I will take all questions live. There's the Twitter feed, and I am desperately trying to raise funds to book venues and advertise them so that people know where they can come and meet me and ask me any questions live. It does matter. I know there are other really urgent appeals in the Yemen. Please support them too, but please also support local democracy. It really does matter. There are so many people in Copeland who believe that all politicians from major parties are in it for themselves. And when you get up close, it's just so different. And it's so important that people get the chance to come up close, meet me, ask me anything, and see, and just ask away until they can see that the way that Lib Dems are presented in the press, with guilty-looking faces squashed between Jimmy Savile and Attila the Hun, in the Daily Mail every day, and lots of surrounding articles about corruption, is not real. That's not what we are. So there's an onus on you. Please volunteer to deliver leaflets. It's rebeccahanson.org.uk. Please come and help. Please make a donation so we can do that. And that's how you do it. Do we have any more questions tonight? Because if not, I've messaged it. Do. You've shared the video, thank you very much. How's the campaign trail gone today? Cold, snowing, just lightly. I would have loved to have got some video, but it wasn't heavy enough really to capture. Really, really, really hard work. Andy is away. I'm trying to hold everything together and organise everything at the same time, and it's just so difficult. We keep getting key people who are going to come to Copeland, and then they're called away, and the distances are so far, and everything changes, and... And there's just so much to organise because we don't have lots of expensive employed people paid for by unions or paid for by donors with dubious interests. It's just not like that here. But it does mean it's really hard work. We have to work 6 times as hard. And we will, because we've got our feet on the ground. We've got the passion for it. Charles Goodman, keep going, Rebecca. Great to get a video up. Oh, yeah, well, we're doing that every night. But like I say, I've got a shed loads of phone calls to make tonight. So if there are no more questions, I'll finish for tonight. And then in a few minutes, this video will go live. And please share it share it onto different Facebook pages, into the groups in West Cumbria and onto Lib Dem pages as well, so that people can see what we're up to and hopefully be inspired that they can do it too. Okay, bye for now.